Time management and prioritization isn't exactly my strong suit. Like, I'll get off my computer, finish my work about 10 minutes before I have to go to school, rush eating lunch, rush packing my bag, I'll forget things, and it's havoc all around. So I don't really have time to check the news, the schedule, the weather, nothing. So I just basically go unprepared. And I thought to myself, that isn't a good attitude to have in life. Because you're gonna have to prepare for things, you're gonna have to be on the lookout, you're gonna have to know what's happening around you. And this is my solution to that. The whole purpose of my project is to find an efficient way to check a whole bunch of things happening around you at once. Whether it be the news, your favorite daily song, a daily quote, the weather, anything, everything that's happening around you. My solution is encompassing all of that and putting it in one readable dashboard for you to understand. So quick demo of my project. So at the top we have our date, and then under that we have a daily song by one of your favorite artists. It takes data from your Spotify profile, and based on that, it will give you a random song. Then under that, we have your day at a glance. So you have the weather, so the humidity, the temperature. Then we have our schedule. So what I have on my schedule for that day. Then I have the traffic. So data about all the the roads around me. This is also all automated, so if there's any construction or a new accident, it will automatically update. Then under that we have the news. So I specifically chose the categories of science and tech because that's what I'm most interested in. I'm not interested into entertainment or sports as much, so I put these two in my news area. So it's a very quick, efficient way for me to check a whole bunch of information at once. And let's talk about how I actually created this. So to truly understand how we get a whole bunch of data at once, we need to understand the concept of an API. And an API is basically an endpoint for you to retrieve data from a company that keeps a lot of data. For example, I could use a traffic API to get a bunch of data from a company that stores traffic data, and I can actually use that information in my project. Typically, there's a paid subscription for it. Otherwise, you'll have a limit on how many requests or times you can retrieve information from that API. But for me, I chose a lot of the free APIs or the ones that have a very high limit on those requests, so I can efficiently create my project and have multiple people use it at once based on their needs. And they can also filter different news sites, they can filter different regions for their traffic. So having multiple people use this at once will use a lot of requests. So that's why I chose either free APIs that don't limit your requests or APIs that have a really high request limit. So for how to actually get the data on the screen, I use Python. It's something I've been using for a really long time, and I also want to go past my comfort zone a little bit. So I use something called Flask. It's a library for Python that I haven't delved in too deep before, and I wanted to try to experiment with it because it's really, really powerful. It basically allows you to create a server and use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and all those web development tools, and pass in variables from your Python script and allow you to display that on the screen. And this might be a little bit hard to understand. I'll try my best to explain it. But basically, we will have all the API calls or the requests I'm making to the API in the Python script, and then the web server will take that information, put it into the HTML file, and then the HTML file will use CSS to make it look better. I use Bootstrap, which is a framework that allows the HTML to look better. There's basically a bunch of syntax you can use. It provides a bunch of style sheets or different sets of styles you can use for your website. And at the end of it, Flask will run that server on a certain IP, and then you can put that IP on your in your address, and then it will show all the data. So this is gonna be part 1 of the video. The second part, I'm gonna be detailing how I did the hardware. So right now I'm getting a bunch of data from APIs. Instead, next time I will be getting a bunch of data from my own sensors. So I'm gonna be using stuff like a hygrothermograph. And a sneak peek for the next video, a hygrothermograph is the blue thing over here, and this is an Arduino. I'm not gonna go too much in detail because I want you guys to watch my next video, but stay tuned for that. It's gonna be the next extension to my project, and in the final video will be me going a little bit more beyond and trying some things that I haven't tried before in the software hardware field. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave some feedback in the comments. I'll gladly respond to it. And yeah, I hope you have a nice day. See you next time.